Good morning, everybody. It is Lasha. I'm really confused about the date today. One certainty is it's definitely Thursday, the 18th. Okay, I was right. It's Thursday, September the 18th, 6:08 in the morning, and welcome to Thursday's Chit Chat, Thinking Thursdays. I don't know, Talking Thursdays, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star Thursdays. Let's just talk about the news, what's going on. And I'm sitting here having my coffee and getting ready to work. So I decided, for those of you who have been here before, and for those of you who are just passing through, I'm going to talk today about my opinion in reference to Charlie Kirk's assassination, the ripple effect it's had in society and in Canada, including myself, obviously, or I wouldn't be putting up a video about Charlie Kirk, in my opinion, if I didn't care about it. So, in a way, our podcasts are a projection of ourselves. So, and the other subject that's intriguing me is the Sheen situation and anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism. I those are the three topics that I've been thinking about lately. So normally I would sing an introduction. It's too early to sing. So I leave for work at 9 o'clock. So I'll wrap this up at approximately, I don't know, 6:30, quarter to 7. I know that I talk a little bit slowly. I don't talk as quickly as Gen X or Gen Z. I don't speak as clearly as Candace Owens, and I don't say important and going to. Um, my language is a little loose. I'm 54 and I'm groggy and tired. However, Charlie, and anti Semitism in my throat right now has to come out. So, if you're interested in listening to my synopsis and opinion of what's going on with the internet, and I'm parroting based on the research that I've seen, please join in. And if not, thank you so much for stopping by and even taking the time. There's so much to watch, and there's so many people with so many opinions, and we all think we're so important, you know? Well, you know why I do this? Because I'm single. I wake up in the morning, I stumble out of bed, I make the coffee, and then I go down to the gym. I work my weights on my arms and my legs, and then my scooter is fully charged, and then I scoot to Beamsville and I go to work. However, having said that, I'm just taking a sip of coffee, just one moment. From now on, any commentaries that I do or conduct will be live. My videos don't seem to pan out as I've hoped because I do not know how to edit. Still, I do not know how to edit. I've been too reliant on Trevor. And, anyways, I spoke about those situations. So, the Charlie Kirk situation. Um, I spoke of this the other day, but every day I've been thinking about it more and more. I've been listening to Candace Owens more and more. Um, I've been listening to Mary Trump. I've been listening to Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly. who else is on the left? I'm trying to think. Mary Trump, Katie Couric, those types of journalists. And what I've noticed in the States with the Democrats and the Republicans, it's almost as if there's, uh, well, there used to be, you know, conservative Republican back in the Mitt Romney days and the John McCain days, back in 2008. Um, and the Democrats, really took over with Obama. And I don't know why Michelle Obama is running around doing a podcast. Um, I'm as interested in what she has to say as, you know, the world is and what I have to say. We all have opinions. But no, seriously, Charlie Kirk, I did not know who this man was. I had never, ever heard of him. And I've been listening to Candace Owens since her inception. I've watched her grow over the last 10 years. Um, I was 40, yeah, 44 when I first started to listen to Candace Owens, and 10 years later, you know? So, Charlie Kirk, I went through almost, well, not all of them, and not even almost. You see, people do lie 26 times a day. We do, we do, we do. We do, we do, we do, we do. This isn't a funny subject. It's very difficult for me to talk about. I don't know how to speak of somebody's passing in a way that, because Charlie was so young and because he um, obviously affected so many people's lives in such a positive way and obviously in negative ways. Um, I was absolutely appalled by people, human beings, putting on social media that they were stoked because of this tragedy. That is mental illness. I don't care if that person is a Nepo baby with millions of dollars. People who speak like that, we need old fashioned discipline. Candace is so right about raising your own family. The family unit's falling apart. Why do you think society's falling apart? You know, we had it so wrong in the past. But, anyways, Charlie Kirk, moving forward. When Candace Owens came out and spoke the first time about Charlie the person, I thought that was such a dignified, um, it was a dignified commentary to her friend. And her and Erica Kirk are going to be a force to be reckoned with. A force to be reckoned with. And I do not agree with a lot of Charlie's views in his agreements with Trump, but I do agree with his stance on the A word. I do believe that life starts at conception. And I do not think that, I think that a woman's right and a man, I don't mean a man, not a transgender man, because men cannot have children, and you either are born a man or you are born a woman. And all of this transgender stuff, it all started in bloody California. I mean, oh, it just, it's a fad. And in 20 years, we're going to look back and think, what were doctors thinking? But Charlie Kirk's legacy is going to live on. His belief system and his light shone so brightly, so quickly, and he's gone. He was like a shooting star. Like he was like a star. It was a slow, it was a short lived star, but it shone so brightly that nobody with the backing that he has, like, you have to have magnetism, an emotional IQ, a high IQ, the way he debated people, highly intelligent, beautiful wife, beautiful children, and his legacy is going to live on. And I know Candace Owens is digging her feet in, even against some of her original beliefs, in my opinion. I think if she really goes down the rabbit hole with her friends, you know, in public, I never in my life, everybody's traumatized by this. You know, the Kennedy files, I don't know. I don't know. So moving on from Charlie Kirk, the Charlie Sheen thing is really bothering me. There's something in my stomach that is saying to me, Charlie Sheen's in trouble. Some lawsuit's going to come out soon. I don't know why I think this. This is just my opinion, and we all have one, just like we all have our coffee cups right now. Yeah, I think that I should have morning chit chats with Lasha. I don't know. Boy, does my voice ever so groggy in the morning. And then by noon, I sound like a helium balloon. So, Charlie Sheen, just to turn to something a little lighter for a moment, or I'll go down a rabbit hole of darkness. Why do people always say, don't get me started? Don't get me started. Don't get me started. No, 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 no. If you're talking into a camera or you're conducting a live, nobody's getting you started. You get yourself started. So putting that seriousness aside, because it's so depressing and so dark. But I would watch Candace Owens to really catch up on the details. Um, Charlie Sheen, just like Matthew Perry, my friend purchased the Matthew Perry book. A subscriber sent me Ask Not, the Kennedys and the Women They Destroyed. And the same subscriber, participant, sent Andrew Gold, Andrew Gold, Psychology of Secrets. And and he's sending either Elite about Prince Andrew or Chaos. I'm not sure which book I want to talk about and us to read together. But at any rate, Charlie Sheen, like when I started to read that Matthew Perry book, Matthew Perry book, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. And, Star Magazine couldn't even get the title, the name properly. They edited Matthew Perry's book, um, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, and they forgot to put the word big there. And, then you find out that the whole book is a lie because he's not fully recovered. And I truly believe that people who have addictions that are that deep, you don't come out of that. if that's been your lifestyle since you were a young tyke, like poor Johnny Depp, you know, he grew up in a very volatile environment as a child, trying anything to calm the anxiety that he would have had with his mother and father, which he openly shared in court. It was that 2021? Was that really 3, 4 years ago, or was it 2022? Oh my gosh. At any rate, another story about the fading industry of Hollywood. Hollywood is a fading industry. Does anybody care what Charlie Sheen has done in the last 10, 15 years? I don't. I really don't. However, what tweaked my curiosity first, and I should really put out my thoughts before other news outlets do, because I'm having the same thoughts, but I think that I'm nuts. So when I first heard about Charlie Sheen with this book coming out, ding ding da ding da ding, and I was just looking at his pattern of behavior, looking back at some of his old movies, etc., etc., and I look at what he looks like now. Um, all I could think about was Corey Feldman and his friend Corey, and that stubborn rumor that won't go away that Charlie Sheen allegedly, I don't know if this is true. Who would? There's never been any court hearing about it. But Corey Feldman has been screaming out since the early 2000s on Dr. Oz, on Oprah, anybody who would listen to him, that Hollywood was full of paraphernalia, okay? Full of paraphernalia. You know, you can buy just about anything in Hollywood. Let's go to Hollywood. Not. Seriously, it's a crumbling industry. So why does Charlie Sheen have to come out now and tell us about his dark life full of debauchery? You know, it's like Kim Kardashian getting famous, or becoming famous, getting famous. You can't get famous. You become famous because of a what tape and somebody what on her. That's disgusting. So I think that the Charlie Sheen thing is a distraction. Look over there, look over here. Something's going to come out, in my opinion, about his philandering. The last thing I wanted to talk about is anti-Semitism. I don't understand why people have to say, I have friends that are Jewish. I have lots of friends that are Jewish. I have friends that are Pakistani. I have friends that are, um, you know, white. I have friends that have blue eyes. I have friends. Oh, it's exhausting. It's exhausting, this whole race thing. But the one thing I don't understand is Candace Owens was, quote, let go because of, quote, anti-Semitism quotes or verbiage, but they couldn't quite put their finger on it. Well, I think the whole situation and what she was trying to talk about and what she talks about on her podcast, and I've known this for 100 years because I'm a fossil. If there was ever a fossil, if there was ever a fossil, I'm it. Okay, Could you imagine your whole peoples being your whole peoples, your all the people of your race wiped out because of a madman and because of little tiny conspiracies going all the way around the world in government? I mean, is I don't know what is this. There's so many operations. Operation Paperclip, Operation 27. I mean, they go on and on and on and on. You know, German people coming over to America and changing identity and not facing criminal charges. Oh my gosh. And you people had to endure this, that particular generation. So then when you think about it, so then children hear their grandparents telling stories about what they went through, and you'd probably be hard pressed to be able to find somebody who's still alive from that time in this day and age, um, through grandchildren and great grandchildren and so on and so on and so on. Because when, you know, um, people came over from the war to Canada, they grew their wealth. Lots of Europeans grew their wealth, Jewish or otherwise. But is it because of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal and the Mossad? And if you, I mean, I don't even want to touch on this. So I actually have to get ready for work and go do my workout. If you want to join me downstairs, I'll be down there. If anybody participated, thank you so much. Have a really great day. And I will talk to you soon. Um, you know what? I don't have my sunglasses. My sunglasses. Yeah, I need my sunglasses in the morning to look at comments. You know, just sorry. I was sitting there just talking to myself, really, because I didn't think anybody would be listening. Um, okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Okay, well, thank you for tuning in, everybody, and thank you for hitting the like button if you decide to, and if you do decide to participate and subscribe for free. I just want everybody to know that I started this channel for my own cause that really didn't stick, and it was a medical malpractice in Canada. And there is a video on my playlist, and it's called the intent, origin, and goal of the channel. If you can make it through that video to understand why I was so depressed that day, I mean, seriously, if you can make it through that video, I commend you. I'll give everybody a free Amazon card. I started this channel because it's a non-donation charity. That's why I'm trying to monetize. And I've had to slow down on raffles because, I was using my own money to give out raffles, like, but it was so much fun because it's a smaller channel, but Trevor's the moderator. And anyway, so I started it because I broke my femur, and a genius surgeon decided to break my knee in the surgery. And I was in a wheelchair for a year from 46 to 47. I couldn't work for 5, and this psychopath surgeon said nothing. But there's a video explaining it. So, in part, I did put up this channel because I went through this from 2017 to 2023. So I put up a petition. I tried to bring awareness to surgeons not keeping their oath to change legislation. And then I thought, well, that's not working. So every quarter, I do a $25 Amazon giveaway. just to say, hey, thank you. Because everybody on YouTube is always saying, oh, please help me get to 100,000. No, thank all of you for taking the time to let me talk today, because as a single person and somebody who lives alone and has thoughts, it can get lonely out there. So I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button at least. But no, seriously, God bless. Have a great day. And thank you for your consideration. There's a lot out there. Okay, bye, everybody. Bye.